let's talk about you guys' marriage, because I felt like, you recently, about a year and some change now. Well, a year actually.
Yeah,
A year.
a
Yeah,
year in 1 month this month actually.
got you.
So a little
Yeah.
over a year.
So let's talk about that. So how was it like at the beginning when you guys moved in? How was it, to be newlywed? What were the nuances that you felt you had to adjust in your life? Or, what are some of the things that you're just like, dang, I can't believe I'm giving that up, or like, things like that. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get mixy.
You first.
Yeah. So I will say when we got married, like everything happened at one time. So literally after I proposed, like 4 months later, we got married, bought a house literally the same weekend, and kind of just everything started rolling together like that. So we were just go, go, go for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, obviously with a lot of family and a lot of friends, just always on the go, doing something, going on trips, and kind of meshing that with, building, our foundations as a married couple for newly married. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So, yeah.
Awesome.
I think because everything was happening so fast, we didn't sit into the realization of what we were adapting to. So everything was just like, there was no time to really think too much, but it went well. Like it was a year of like, go, go, go. But we didn't really get to sit and be like, oh, this is what the adaptation feels like.
Got you. I know you guys seen a lot of like the Christian memes, right? Where like Christian couples get married so fast and stuff. I feel like that happened
was us.
really fast with you guys. But you know what? Maybe you should guys give a little insight on like, why is that? Why is it that you feel like, Christian couples, they get married so quickly, and it feels like really, really fast. What do you think that is? Like, what is it that like maybe it's behind it, or like maybe what made Brandon, when you pursued Ali, like what was all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I can't speak on behalf of, all Christian
Chris-
couples out there,
Yeah.
but I can definitely tell you a little bit about our situation. So, I mean, with us, we started out as friends first. So that really helped, with a lot of situations as far as being able to, adapt and grow and stuff like that.
Right.
But really, honestly, it came down to just like, I have this amazing woman in front of me, amazing values, qualities. We believe the same things here. So that's what made that decide to move at a quicker pace.
Gotcha.
'Cause I think definitely having those same belief systems,
Yeah.
as far as what it means to be a Christian and follow Jesus and whatnot, and those values, that's like the main aspect of the relationship, in my opinion. So,
Gotcha.
and everything else will come, naturally from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my like pros and cons of like Christian relationships.
Oh,
think-
hold on. Let's hear this.
And like speaking from past relationships, I feel like I saw that there was always this rush to get married so you could have sex.
Right. That is actually, I appreciate you being honest about that, because I feel like a lot of people, I don't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of Christian couples, I feel like, yeah, they're loving this and that, but a lot of the times it's because, they want to get it in. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
And that's thankfully, I think what Brandon was saying, like that since we had a small group, we were friends for like more than a year, and we would hang out like every week with our group, with you. We used you as a third wheel a lot, just so we could spend more time together. But I would say that we got to know each other as friends first, which most Christian couples don't really get to do. So I think they just kind of rush that part where they know that within Christianity, like the right thing to them is not to live together before and stuff like that. So they try to like rush all those steps, and then they don't really ask the important questions till once they're in it.
Gotcha.
But what I do appreciate about the Christian relationships is that they do ask certain questions like earlier in than secular dating, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So secular dating, I think it's more like, maybe you can jump in here, but it's like more.
Brandon,
So-
you've been in the mix.
Yeah, I've been in the mix. But no, the twist you were saying, like, I think, we knew that going in. We know, obviously, how relationships work and what a relationship works, outside of the Christian community and stuff like that, too. So we really took it seriously. That was the main difference, this time around with this relationship was that, like, dude, we were in, like, not counseling, but we were in, what was it called?
We did all the premarital
we were in
counseling
premar-
stuff. We asked all the hard questions
Yeah.
first, like, which I do commend, like, that Christians put in the extra work to ask those questions. Like, what are your family values? They do like that
that intentionality.
That intentionality. That's the word. Thank you, Carlos.
Yeah.
There's more intentionality in it, and it's not just casual dating.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the people think they have it okay to like just jump in, but most of the time there's certain things that Christians go through to figure out that's the one.
So I appreciate you guys answering that. So the reason I'm even asking all these questions is because, you know, I personally feel I've known you guys for some time, and for the people that are listening or watching, like you guys are like a really like prime example of what I feel like a process of like dating, going into a relationship and marriage should look like. We've always praised you guys for that. I run the friend group, you know, because I feel like you guys did it the quote unquote right way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for the people that are watching out there that maybe have gone through, you know, relationship issues and all this stuff, like what was it that like, for example, when did you know, Brandon, that like Adri, you know, was quote unquote the one? And then when did you, Adri, reciprocate that? Because, you know, I know that from what I saw on the eyes in, you know, had to pursue Adri and things like that. So maybe if you can talk about what advice you have for men, or in your case for women, like what is that like? So maybe people can get a better idea of what it should look like, you know what I mean? Or what they should be looking out for or experiencing and things of that nature.
Right. So you're asking all the big questions now.
The big questions, of course,
okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to start first, right? As far as how
so how'd you know that Adri was the one, you know, because you can even tell us about your pursuit process, you know, what you went through, things like that.
Okay, so I think we all know it came down to Miami.
So we took give a little people background real quick.
Yeah, so you can't just say Miami. That sounds weird. But so basically, at the time when I decided to pursue her, you know, I think certain situations in our life happened, personal on both sides, and I think at the point of realizing, hey, you know what, I don't want to lose her in my life, even just as a friend. That really came down, like, that hit me hard. I was like, because there was a possibility at one point that, you know, we could have went different directions and whatnot, and you know, that realization itself like hit me, dude. 100%. And that's like when I knew, like, oh snap, this is something right here. Yeah. And obviously just, you know, going through that, working through that, praying about it, different things happening. You know, we started that pursuit process.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about you, Adri? How'd you reciprocate to that? What was when did you start finding out that my homie was the one?
Brandon knows this, but when since we
out.
were friends, we were friends for so long that it was so hard to like see him in a different light at first. Like I kind of like played with the idea, but I never actually, like when he was actually pursuing me, I kind of had to
quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't like that word.
Like Bell says, it's cringy.
Yeah, Bell's is gonna be like that.
Is that one of the cringe words? We're gonna talk about that. Let's get into that after.
But I had to like kind of switch my mentality on how I viewed him, and I had to start seeing him romantically, and that was hard for me to like. Our first kiss, I remember I was like, I just kissed Brandon, my friend. Oh. It was weird. It wasn't.
Was it 80-20 or how was that? 50-50? How'd it go? Yeah. Or was it whole 100, Brandon?
It was 90-10.
No
it was 90-10? Nah. Dang.
It wasn't like that.
On Hitch, the movie, I heard it was like 80-20, so I don't know about what's up with that. You guys saw Hitch?
That's a classic, bro.
That's a classic, yeah. Will Smith told the other guy, he was like, it's 80-20. You know, you go 80, she goes 20. But I think in this case, it might have been a whole 100.
Well, you know,
but it worked out.
It did work out because when God has a plan, everything falls into place. But that was one thing. Like we didn't have to force it. That was something that gave me a lot of peace about the journey of dating.
Gotcha.
It was like it wasn't forced. So like I was very real with him when I told him, oh, I'm not really feeling it right now. But I was really real about that in the beginning.
I didn't know you said that.
I did say that, and then things just kind of fell into place. And then from point A to XYZ, like it just everything was so smooth, and I was like, okay, that's God's hand, and I have a lot of peace with him.
So how big do you guys think that, like, for example, maybe the external things are into a relationship, like you guys, for example, like family, maybe the friends, like you think that was a big part also that played into that? Or did you guys even think about that, you know, like, because at some point you guys have to build your life regardless of what the family thinks about. You know, so is there anything that really felt like it was anything major that you felt like, you know, or you felt like it was natural, the family bought in, they were in? How was that like?
That's a great question, man, because honestly, that was one of our biggest conversations.
Yeah.
Was what's the family life gonna look like?
Right.
Because we're both family oriented. So I mean, if it wasn't gonna work out with the family like supporting us on both sides, it wasn't gonna work out. And that's something that we decided that we wanted.
Right.
It's not everybody's situation. So I mean, this is our example, but we both said, hey, we want our families to get together. We want to build something here with our family and our friends. And so, from that day on, like, honestly, it just really meshed smoothly. And, like, her family, like, super supportive and loves me. And my family adores her, probably even more than me, honestly. So, I mean, just because of that and having great friends as well, it really helped us to, get to where we are now, honestly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think different priorities for different people. Some people have toxic families and they're not very involved with their families, and that's fine. You draw your boundaries. But for us, we both had, like, it was important to us. So that worked out very well.
Yeah. That's good, man. Because like you said, a lot of people roll different ways. But I think even for me, eventually, like when I find somebody, like I feel like it would be, the family aspect has to be big. You know what I mean? Like it will have to be like some type of, I don't know, that bond and that mesh has to come and be like, yo, like, because family is important, especially I guess you can take the priorities and what's important to you. So